Ready?
Let's do it. Fucking rocket.
What's up, everybody? So, inspired by Joey. Shout out Joey.
Joey. Everybody needs a Joey in their life.
I am right now pulling up the all NBA teams. Why? Because I want to know. Joey question. He said, OKC Thunder in 2 years or Team USA? Who you got? All right. So, first team all NBA, you got Jason Tatum. He's going to be a Team USA guy. Joel Embiid, not a Team USA guy. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, well, he's our guy. Luka, not a Team USA guy. And Nikola Jokic, not a Team USA guy. Donovan Mitchell, second team NBA. Will he be playing for the US? Maybe. I don't know. They're going in a different direction, but he's good enough to play. Steph Curry, probably play. Jimmy Butler, probably play. Jaylen Brown, probably play. Sabonis, he's not going to play. Third team is Fox. We've talked about that. You got Dame as third team. Julius Randle, who cares? LeBron James. Dave, what do you think when you start listing those guys in that group of players that you think about maybe like that's still in their prime, all NBA players? I'm missing some guys that would probably play for the Olympics, but I think I kind of got the core of that team. And you
Yeah,
stack that up against our team.
you're right though. Like getting to the All NBA team and the core of that is exactly it. Um, I would have loved to see Donovan Mitchell on this team, this USA team. I would have loved to see a couple of these guys play on this USA team. So, um, yet if you compare our All NBA team to the rest of the world, it's hard to compete. I mean, so all right, getting back to what he asked in 2 years. So let's just throw this out there: 2 years, Thunder's team versus the USA team. Who wins? Man, I gotta say the Thunder. I mean, like obviously, why not? I mean, like if you
That's
have
what you guys are here for, right? You
if you
didn't
have
come
Team
here.
Canada, which will be a top five team by the time in 2 years, and I think Shea's
What
going
up,
to be up
Mwani?
there.
What up, Jared?
Dort is going to be there. Obviously Josh Giddey is going to be one of the leaders to Australia. Um, I think Chet will be on Team USA, so I don't know what we'll do. But maybe we have two Chets. So one Chet goes to Team USA, we get the other Chet. I mean, it's a video game, right?
Well, he might be one of the best players on the team, but they're not ready to range
Sup,
because
Wash?
there's a pointless hierarchy in Team USA right now. I'm not digging it, dude. I don't think it's really good for stuff. It's why we look at the team how it's built the way it is because these guys have paid their dues, but it's like these young players are better. You got to give them a chance. But hey, I get it. International basketball, you have to reward the players who have played in the system for longer. But either way, it was going to be a group of players who had never really played together before. So anyway, let's talk about it. Josh Giddey in 2 years. I think he's a 20-point scorer, 10 assist guy. A lot, maybe like you could look at a player like Halliburton with except an elite passer, maybe not quite, maybe a 38% 3-point shooter would be nice, maybe 40, but who knows? Shea's already proven what he can do, but he'd be better at what? Like creating for others and being a guy that can lift other guys up.
Yeah.
Um, you look at our posts with Chet, he's like, since you can only have one Chet, we're gonna take him and they can fuck off.
Yep.
J Dub, same way. We got two players that could be starters for Team USA, but because the hierarchy would probably be somewhere down the bench. So why not? We can take those guys with no sweat. What am I missing, Dave? Our depth is really solid, although their depth would be like looking at all stars all the way down, and we're looking at guys that are exceptional role players
Yeah,
like Kenny
but
Hustle,
you got
J
to put
Dub, Isaiah Joe.
team hustle, team effort, team love in there. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a team versus a bunch of guys that are playing together that play together in summer ball. Like it's a different game. And anytime that you say, "Hey, I want to put up a team that's been playing together for years," and that's what I want to make sure. Again, I like this USA team. All right, I like the spirit they have, but they're playing against a bunch of guys that have been playing together for a long time.
That's right, Jared. Thunder first.
and so when you're playing against a team, and that's why I go back to, if the Thunder's playing against the USA team in 2 years, and this team is just straight up balling, like why would you, like, would it be a competition for a bunch of guys, like would it be a competition for a team to play against an all-star game, against an all-star team?
Hmm.
Like that's what I'm saying, is like, if you're going to go out there and not play defense and stuff like that, then like, I don't know, something to think about. Got me thinking, bro.
Got me thinking too. I was like, this is a dope question because we're homers and we would look at it and say, yeah, absolutely. I think the Thunder have that level of long-term upside. You had a player like Jang in 2 years who could be, one of the better players on Team France. Poku for Serbia, like both of these guys have really great
So Jaden,
upside. You go down the list, it's like we're loaded with international talent who with players who are going to get opportunities that just would not get these opportunities for Team USA because it's only all NBA players who get to play on these teams usually. So um, I'm excited about the depth in that way, and it started just making me. And we talk about this a lot. It was 13 years ago, I guess now, like 2010 summer, and we got to see like all of our best players play Team USA, and that was an elite feeling. I was like, wow, this young team is playing in FIBA, and it's Russ, Harden, and KD, and Steph
and Ibaka
Curry,
was in for Spain that year too, I think,
right? And
right?
that was right. And then all of a sudden this year, right? It's kind of the opposite. You have no players on Team USA, but international teams are loaded with our players being the best players on their team.
So it's so phenomenal, bro.
I feel better about this season than I did then. And I've been kind of reserved to express that because I felt like that was such a nostalgic season. I look at that as like kind of like that's when I started walking around like a cocky motherfucker. Before then, I was like, yeah, the Thunder are good. You know what I mean? And they're going to be good. But we won 50 games, and it was like, what's going to happen next? And then it was just like, you saw the team ball in
Oh yeah.
that FIBA. You saw like Russ was one of the best players in the whole world, and you saw KD was the best player in the whole fucking tournament, and you saw Harden was easily one of the best players there. And you realize this is really special. It didn't last as long as all of us would have hoped, but I'm looking at this and it's like this is better.
Yeah.
This is better because
You're right.
I did not give a fuck about any of the games that were happening outside the U.S. last time.
Mm, you're
You
right.
mentioned Ibaka, but I didn't watch Spain at all. Then on top of that, when I look at it, I start thinking about I'm watching these non-competitive but are super competitive scrimmages. They're not scrimmages, they're like friendlies. I don't know what they call them. They're not they don't count.
No.
And people are like, "Oh my gosh, Canada lost." Like
Yeah.
I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
you know, 13 years ago if Canada lost in a warm-up game. I didn't give a shit if they lost in the
Yeah.
regular FIBA games. And now it matters to me. It matters to me what the green and gold do out there. Like this is really exciting. This is the most excited I've ever been going into a FIBA thing. And I know we have tons of listeners who are experiencing this and they keep being like, hey, you fucked up on this, or you said this wrong, or you forgot to mention this. And I appreciate it because like it's like two little kids in a candy shop for the first time. We're bound to miss some stuff. So keep us on our fucking toes.
Yeah, and it's just nice to be able to stop for
What up, Jaden?
10 minutes, right? And stop and recognize that if we were just watching Team USA and knowing that Spain had one of our players, it would be one thing. But knowing Serbia and knowing um, Canada and knowing, I mean, it's just fun, man. Like it changes everything. Like France, right? Uh, if it wasn't for um, I can't. What's his name, man? We drafted him a couple years ago in the 10th spot, or 11th spot.
Jang?
Yeah, Jang for France, man. He got injured, but if he wasn't injured, then he would be playing for France. Like this is exciting, man. Like for the first time, we're sitting here and saying, "Oh my god!" Like we're able to invest into watching the entire FIBA, not just one game, 2 games, and just what the USA is doing. And Josh Giddey, and for Australia, like this is it's phenomenal, man. It's better than playoff basketball at this moment. and like that's exciting. No, I want to say it's better than playoff basketball at this moment, is because our playoff basketball last year lasted 2 games,
Okay.
and we get to watch like people beating up each other in FIBA, and our players really shine because our players going to play in circumstances that they're going to be really highlighted for what they can do. Like, I expect if Poku plays a lot, he's going to look amazing. Josh Giddey is going to be put in a position to look really, really strong and really good. Dort and Shea, same situation. Like this is good shit that's happening in front of us.
Dude, better than playoff basketball? Maybe like a first round elimination, if you're like used to it, like we were with like Russ and Paul George, where it was like season after season we're getting eliminated in the first round.
Yeah.
I would say I'd rather this than that, but this is by far the best FIBA or most excited I've ever been about a FIBA. And here's the thing: both of the players that are the best players on their respective teams, like Ngidi and SGA, it seems to me like they're going to be the best players on their teams for a long time. Or maybe that's not the right way to put it, because international basketball, it's not really about that. It's more like one of the cornerstones of the entire program.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have someone like that that's there year after year and they can build the program around, it doesn't really matter who leads the team in scoring or anything like that. It just matters like can the team piggyback off the success that they're having in the league. And like both Canada and Australia are, I think, two of the top 5 teams in the tournament coming up, and it's going to be really, really fascinating. The first big game coming up, I don't know the date, but it's Canada versus Germany, I think, or who are they playing first, man? It's gonna be a tough game. I think they're playing France first. France is the first big game of the tournament. It's going to be insane, and I'm excited.
All right, I'm pulling up the FIBA schedule, man. Right here. All right, so Friday, August 25th. We
2
have
weeks.
France and Canada.
Boom. Think it started right away.
We got a bunch of games right there, but nothing other than Jordan, Greece.
What time is that game? It's
Serbia and China at 8 a.m. Eastern on the 26th.
Poku's not going to be playing that one, though.
Spain, New Zealand. Or I'm sorry, Spain. United States, New Zealand at 8:40 a.m. The 27th, we see Australia versus Germany. Canada versus Lebanon.
Oh man, these start times are gonna be crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna be all over the place. So it's all in the morning. So yeah,
it reminds me of one of those basketball tournaments that families would have to go to, and they'd have like 4 kids, and you had to be like, okay, how are we gonna cover all the games?
Yeah.
Okay, you go to this one and this one. I'll go to this one and this one, and that way every kid gets a parent.
Yeah, dude. I'm all
How
for
are we
it.
gonna cover all the games, Dave?
I don't know, man. I think we just go by seniority.
Okay.
When Shea plays,
so Canada. Well, I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't know if I can see.
I kind of want to see Australia play really, really bad too, man.
I can watch 2 at a time.
I can watch 2 at a time, man. I wish we could figure out a way to share our screen so our people could watch 2 at a time with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
seems shady.
Do that one site that
Buff.
Too cool. Yeah, Buff Stream. Shout out Too Cool, but Buff Stream works. I can watch 2 at a time on Buff Stream, bro.
Yeah. All right, man. Ooh, yeah. France and Canada is gonna be a dirty game. Man, some of these brackets are gonna be like just totally fucked. Like everybody's gonna be playing in it, just gonna be beating each other up. Like
I know, but man, like what for Canada to come out and lose to Germany, like Camille was saying, like, and then be like, you guys fucking around? Like, because we got to play France coming up, and we can't be fucking around. Like,
yeah, dude.
How does that work, bro? Like, I heard that the locker room was tense. They got a brand new coach. I guess the Raptors get a new coach, so they need a new coach for Team Canada too. But like, what is that? What is that like?
Bro,
How
it's what happens when you have a younger squad and you don't have a true voice to the team, man. You know, and that just happens. Like, is Shea going to be able to step up and be that main guy on that team, or is he going to rely on somebody else, or is Dylan Brooks seriously that toxic that everybody just hates him?
you think that people don't like Dylan Brooks on Team Canada?
I don't know, man. I
You're
don't
gonna
know.
blame him? He's gonna be the fucking scapegoat for the
But
Team
I'm just
Canada
saying we
thing?
don't like here's the thing. If things aren't right and things are tense in the locker room, people are upset, then everybody's looking at blaming somebody. So who's the scapegoat? Is it seriously a coach? Is it one of the players? Is it low hanging fruit because Dylan Brooks yelled at Dort and Dort and him got in a little tussle? Like, we don't know. We can just speculate. And I think that's the thing that's fun though.
Dude, you're pulling shit out of your ass. That is speculation,
That's the
but that
best
is
part about it, man. I got a mic here, and there's tons of speculation down the road, bro. But what I personally think is Shea didn't wipe his ass properly, and then everything just went to shit.
I've heard from sources that Dylan Brooks is a problem in the Team Canada locker room also.
Dude, that's what happens when you get into boofing, dude. Take it up the
I'm
butt.
just trying to like, are you saying Shea or Brooks, bro?
Brooks, man. Come on.
Okay. Okay.
He's a
Okay.
clown.
'Cause you're the one you
100%
said that
washed.
Shea wasn't wiping. That's what I thought.
Nah,
Then
dude.
you're like, then you went to boofing, and then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
no, it's the clown.
It's the clown and the clown.
You know what I like? I like how everybody can't say Twitter anymore. They have to treat it like Ron Artest when he changed his name to Meta World Peace, and they're like
Meta World.
X, formerly Twitter, formerly known as Ron Artest.
Dude, Ron Artest, dude, what a joke, dude.
I miss him.
Dude,
Oh my god.
I went back and do you ever watch that Malice in the Palace?
I never watched that 30 for 30.
You got to watch Malice in the Palace. Like the way he explains it, you know? Did you know that he went in the fans and he beat up the wrong guy?
I imagine because how would you know which guy threw something? You wouldn't look until, dude, you know what I would do if I threw something? I would duck. I would act like I didn't throw it and I'd walk away. You know how I know that, Dave? Because I've done that shit before. That sucker who was standing there, man. Oh my god, he got an ass kicking, but me, I got away with it,
dude. Yeah, throwing things into a big crowd or on stage at people is yeah, not acceptable anymore like it was in the early 2000s when you and I would go to concerts. So
the world is different now, Dave.
The world is different. People are
we're
throwing
way
stuff
cooler
back.
and it's way more uptight.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, just chill. Just chill.
Oh, dude.
Man, what else we got going on, dude? Dude, I want to say this. I was thinking about this the other day, right? I was thinking about the reality of where we're at with Kenny Hustle.
So hang on. Where are we at with Kenny Hustle? Because I think he's one of the better role players in the league. He's like somebody that playoff contenders think could help him. I mean,
if there wasn't Dort, he would be our starter in that position. Why wouldn't he? He can play all 5 positions. He can switch on everybody. He plays really hard, really physical.
Because sometimes glue guys play best in glue roles, and we've moved him in the starting lineup.
When did he play best last year?
I thought off the bench. I felt like we put him in starting lineup spots for the last 2 years, and his contributions were always when his best ones were like when he could create a different
when we
tempo.
put him in the starting lineup, where did we put him at?
Probably small forward, but I can't remember.
Small forward, or center. All right. When we went small ball, he would go to that center position. And here's the thing about that. He was always like overmatched. And that's why he didn't have these great games. But if you think about what we were trying to do there, that's why I get excited about him. Because as much as you need really good offensive players out there, having somebody like Kenny Hustle that can shoot 40% from 3, that can drive and get back door very hard. And then on top of that, like his mismatch on defense, because if he gets a smaller guy on him, he makes that smaller guy look like a chump.
So
like
he's
bully ball.
Let's call him the leader of the bench. Maybe
Yeah,
not necessarily the sixth man, but like
but
let's
let's
give him
just
that
put it out
title.
there. The reason I put that there is that because I feel like Kenny Hustle could start on 30 teams in the NBA right now. Think about that.
All of them.
All 30 teams, bro. Name a team that he wouldn't start for right now.
I mean, I'm not really good at these types of things without
But I'm
preparation,
serious.
but
If you
like,
have a player that can play shooting guard, small forward, power forward, even at small power forward, he can go in and out that lineup. What team would he not start for? That I mean, put him. I mean, he could play even point guard if you needed him for a little while. Like so. With that being said, is there a team that he wouldn't fit in with playing at least top 4 in minutes on their team? I maybe the Clippers, but even then though, like you move him over at the shooting guard, or you put him at the small forward, or you put him at the forward, and you know, like I don't know, dude. Like I just I look at
so
Kenny Hustle as being one of those guys that no matter where he would play at this point of his career, and what we saw with the 50 games that he played last year, I just have a hard time thinking that he wouldn't end up being at least, a top 4 minutes per game for that team.
I think you also could make the same argument about J Will. Like, there's
Yeah.
not a lot of teams that couldn't use a league leader in charges. Um, Isaiah Joe, second best 3-point shooter by percentage in the league. Okay, so then you throw in Casey Wallace, the number 10 pick, who a lot of teams would find a spot for in the starting lineup. Poku, I mean, I think there's a bunch of teams he could be seen as valuable enough to start at this stage. Maybe I'm exaggerating his skill set, but here's my thing:
Who
like
cares?
you go down the list, and I'm missing people.
Yeah.
Wiggins could earn serious minutes in this league, and he's on the outside of a looking in of this like next five group.
I know.
Um,
But that's what's so crazy is like Coach D has this deal he's got to deal with. And really it's everybody's been talking about the top, 7, 8 guys. But the reality is it's much more difficult than that, because if you only play 7, 8 guys, then you're leaving out Kaysen, you're leaving out Poku, you're leaving out all these other guys. And to me, like that's I don't see him stopping playing these other guys. I don't see him all of a sudden saying, Poku, you're only going to play 10 minutes a game. I'm sorry. Like I don't. I see most of our guys getting 10 to 15 minutes a game that are 10 through 15. And if you think about that, that's 15 minutes a game for those guys. And you go up and you start looking at the other guys on the bench, and they're going to get a ton of minutes too, because I don't think we're going to lean heavily on our starting lineup. I just don't think we need to during this season. Like we might in certain games where we're like, okay, well, we have to play the
well,
entire fourth quarter here, but most of the time we're going to be able to lean on the way that we play effective defense, high-paced offense, and the fact that we can substitute any of these guys in and out as quickly as possible, and we still cover down.
that gives us a chance because you saw like Coach Dagnall shorten his lineup in those playing games. We have to be able to rely on the bench through the 82 games if we're going to be able to get a push out of the starters in the playoffs. Like that was like those two games were whoa.
Yeah.
Like for those guys, none of them had been in that situation. The only one who had been in that situation was Shea, but he was a different role in a
Yep.
different role, and it took a toll on all of them. I feel very, very strongly that this next step is going to come from, like you're saying, relying on the bench, going 12, 14 deep in a game.
But Mawani, you're right. You shorten the bench when it comes to the playoffs, and you shorten that rotation, but you don't define who that rotation is until the end of the season. Like you can't go out there and expect these guys like old school and LeBron playing 40 minutes a game or 39 minutes a game in the season or regular season. Like we're not doing that to Shea. We're not going to do that to Dort. We're not going to do that to Giddy. Like these guys are going to average 30, 32, 33 minutes a game, and they're just going to clock up until the end of the season where they're able to put out, 40 minutes a game at the end when we're playing in the playoffs, and we shorten that bench up. But we're talking, 83 games into the season. So 83 games to get prep, yo.
82 warm-up games.
That's it, man. Best of
That's
life.
it. I love it, man. Well, shit, dude, this is another day we got started a little bit late. Life is hectic right now.
Yeah, Jared, tell your girl thank you for letting you stay in the car and listening to us, because that's pretty baller, man.
Yo, Wash, I want to say I agree with your assessment, like as far as like personally too. You're saying like you're hoping that Canada wins against France, but if your country, France, wins, you're cool with that. Like I'm gonna side with Thunder players throughout the whole tournament. And like I'm cool if Team USA wins. I'm not gonna be like bummed, but I'm like I'm cheering for Thunder players. That's what this tournament is about for me.
Hell yeah,
That's where
dude.
my loyalties lie, and I don't know if that makes me a traitor, but I don't give a fuck.
No, dude, let's just be honest. For the first time in the history of the game, like this is truly spectacular that teams are going to be able to cheer for, or players, or I say teams, fans are going to be able to cheer for their players that are playing on different countries all over the world, and it's not going to be just people cheering for US. And that's it. And I know for a fact, because people fall in love with these players. If you're playing against the US, yeah, sure, like Wash said, I'm going to cheer for France, but if Australia wins, then that's okay. Or
Well,
Canada
he said it
wins.
the other way around,
Yeah,
bro.
Canada.
He wants Canada to win, but if
Oh, but see,
France wins,
and that's what I'm saying, is like that's how like advanced this has become. If this is the same thing when players are playing in the soccer or football,
Mhm.
and World Cup, is you see these fans that are cheering. Yes, it's for their country, but it's also for their players that play for their organization and their team, because you want them to see good
Yeah.
and see them do well. Like that's where I'm at. That's where I get excited about. I need to see that. Like I want to see this. This is the first time we
The
get
only
to
time
see it.
I feel like I would actually be like torn up in the tournament is if like Canada and Australia faced.
Hmm.
Then I'd be like,
In the championship. In the championship, I would just sit back and I would just enjoy a championship game like that. Hell yeah.
All right, dude, we should get out of here. I got to get out early, guys. I'm sorry about that, but come back. We're going to debate who a championship would mean more to, Canada or Australia.
Ooh, nice. All right, guys. See you Monday. Or wait,
Yeah.
see you Saturday.
Today's Friday.
Today's
What?
Friday.
We got
bro.
another day.